Today, inshallah, we're going to explain the lesson on Unit 8, which is Radio and Entertainment. This is the title of our units, and the title of our lesson is News and Entertainment. Before we start explaining the lesson, we have just to know the text type of the lesson, which is interviews. And interviews is a talk or conversation or meeting between people. Before we start explaining the lesson, we have to go through some glossaries, words that you have to know before we go to the lesson. The first word is the word radio, and radio is the activity of broadcasting sound programs to the public. It's an activity that we do in order to broadcast, spread sound programs to the public. In the morning, when you open the radio, you hear sounds, you hear programs. You don't see the programs, you just hear the sounds. So this is called radio. The word news, which means information about recent events, facts that happens during this time. For example, you watch a news, okay, and in the news they were talking about the coronavirus. This is a news. The third word is entertainment, the action of providing enjoyment. So entertainment means enjoyment, to feel happy about something. Newspaper, printed publication that of papers that consist of papers and contain information about recent events. It's printed papers that contain words inside it. It's like a news. You can read the news also, not just from TV or from radio. You can hear news from the radio. You can watch a news from TV, and also you can read the news. These news that are written in the paper, we call them newspapers. Papers that consist of news information. Program, a presentation on television or radio that is broadcasted regularly. Program is like a presentation, an interview, anything that is put on TV or radio and it's broadcasted or spread or publicized regularly. Like Sabah al Khair Ya Arab is a program on TV. Report, a spoken or written description of an event or situation for publication in the media. It's a description that you write or a situation that you publicize or broadcast in the media. This is report. For example, let's talk about the smart agency. If you want to know information about someone, you start to write information about that someone or record information about something. This is called reporting. When you write information and record information, it's type of collecting information. We call this report. Interview, again, it's meeting of people face to face, conversation between two people, talk between two people. Again, radio means in Arabic radio, news, أخبار, entertainment, display. Newspaper جريدة program برنامج report تقرير interview مقابلة. We have also the word studio, a room from which radio or television programs are publicized or recorded. It's a room. It's the room where you can hear the news from the radio or watch the news from TV. It's a room, a place, sitting. Microphone, it's an instrument that is used in recording, transmitting, and amplifying sounds. It's an instrument tool that is used to record information, transmit information, send information, and amplify sounds. Yani make the sounds loud. Scene, the place where an incident in real life happens. Scene, it's the view, the scenery. It's the place where you can see incidents, accidents. It's called scene. Chat show, it's the talk show. An example of chat show, for example, um, like Msameh Karim chat show, when we have people who are making interviews and guests, and we have audience, we call this chat show. Guest, the interviewee or the person who is interviewed, the person who answered the questions, we call him guest. Host is the interviewer or the person who is interviewing. The person who is making this interview or asking questions, we call him host. champion means hero. Now in Arabic studio اللي هو studio مقر التصوير. microphone آلة مكبر صوت تعمل على آه، بتسجل الأصوات وبتنقلها بلس بتكبر الصوت. chat show اللي هي عروض الكلام أو الحكي. scene مشهد. guest ضيف. host المضيف الشخص اللي بيكون بيعمل أسئلة. وchampion اللي هو البطل. Let's continue now. We have the word represent. It's a verb to perform by the name of the country. For example, you want to go to the competition or match. You want to represent your country. You want to play for the country's sake. تلعب من أجل دولة. represent معناها يمثل دولة. To perform by the name of country. تمثل باسم الدولة. Get rid of. To get away from something. If you, for example, you want to get rid of the garbage, you ask your child to get away the garbage from the house. So get rid of يتخلص من represent يمثل. Give up. To quit doing something because you cannot do it. If you don't know how to do something, you just give up. You just don't want to do it because you can't do it. You just give up. يستسلم. Competition, match or game between people. Competition, it's game or match between people. اللي هي مسابقة. Modest, it's an adjective. Humble or person who doesn't show off. It's a humble person who doesn't want to show off, who doesn't uh, he is not proud of himself too much in negative way. For example, some rich people are humble. They don't say I have this and I have this and I have this. Look, I have a car. Look, I have a necklace. Look, I have a villa. They are humble. They don't talk about themselves. They don't show off. Modest يعني متواضع. International, global, all over the world, عالمي. Orchestra, group of people who play with instruments and sing. مجموعة من الناس play with instruments بيلعبوا بالآلات بيعزفوا الآلات and sing. We call them orchestra اللي هي choir. الفرقة الموسيقية إيش زي هيك يعني. Okay, now let's explain the lesson. Our lesson is the news and entertainment. I'm going to read paragraph by paragraph and I'm going to comment on each paragraph. News and entertainment. People used to read the news only in the newspapers. When radio was invented, they heard the news. When television was invented, they saw it too. News programs are popular with lots of interviews and reports. Some channels show news and nothing else. Here in this paragraph, they are talking about the history of the news. People used to read the news. They used to read the news only in the newspapers. Back in day, people used to read the news. They used to read information about others only through newspapers. فقط من خلال الجرائد. When radio was invented, when they started to invent radio, when they made radio, they heard the news. They started to hear the news. When television was invented, when they created television, when they made television, they saw it too. So before that, back in time, the first thing that they do, they read the information or the news from newspapers. And we say that newspapers, it's a paper that we have the news inside it, okay? And after the newspaper, they create the radio where which people can hear from it the news and the information, the facts. And after the radio, they invented television where people which people can see the news and the information, the facts by the eyes. News programs are popular. Popular here means famous, well known. So the news programs are popular. Every day in your home, we open Al Jazeera, for example, and in Al Jazeera channel, we have programs. These programs are specialized for getting us news. So news programs are popular. We know a lot of news programs. It's famous for us with lots of interviews and reports. So it consists of lots of interviews, meeting between people like تجاه المعاكس, for example. We have two people who are يعني arguing about something بيتجادلوا على شيء معين, and reports تقارير. When you see, for example, a man who is telling the news, they are reading from reports اللي هي التقارير, بيقرأوا من التقارير قدامهم. Some channels show news and nothing else. Some channels just put news or show news and nothing else. Like what? شنو channels? For example, Al Jazeera is a channel. جزيرة channel, it's just a channel that shows the news. جزيرة, قناة الجزيرة فقط channel, قناة بتفرجينا الأخبار. As well as news, there is a lot of entertainment on radio and television. You can hear plays on the radio. The actors are in a studio. They speak into a microphone. You can't see them, so you have to imagine the scene for yourself. A sound engineer adds sound effects. They help you to imagine the scene. As well as news, in other way, we don't just have news, we have another thing. There's a lot of entertainment, enjoyments, fun يعني اللي هي الترفيه on radio and television. Just so radio and television, not just for news. Sometimes you listen to a song to Fairuz, for example, or sometimes you see in the television, you watch on television some serious مسلسلات معينة. So radio and television, not just for news. Some channels, they are specified, or um, they just want to give you some entertainment programs اللي هي البرامج اللي فيها تسلاي ترفيه. You can hear plays on the radio. Of course, in the radio we can hear plays, and the plays means مسرحيات. The actors are in a studio. We say a studio is the place where actors act, or where the programs happens. We sometimes you can see this place on TV, or some, and in the radio you can see this place because it's, in the radio. So you can see, you just hear the play, you hear the actors talking, okay? In a studio, and we said again, studio is the place where news and entertainment programs broadcasted تنتشر, okay? They speak into microphones. So what did they use? Microphones. A microphone, we said it's a tool or instrument that people use to record and make the sounds loud. Okay? You can't see them. You cannot see them. So you have to imagine, visualize the scene. You start to think in your minds, how are they going to do that, how are they doing. تخيل, imagine here means تخيل the scene for yourself. A sound engineer adds sound effects. So who adds sound effects? Sound engineer, مهندس الصوت. They help you to imagine the scene. So when the sound engineer adds the sound effects, for example, when you hear radio or a play and you hear the sound of rain, the sound engineer create the sound of rain, so you start to imagine in your minds and think and visualize the image of rain, the sound of rain, how it's raining. It's a romantic scene, for example. So here's scene, it's the view, the thing that you put in your mind and start to see scene, the place where you can see incidents اللي هو المشهد, okay? Here, everything is shown to you in a TV drama, and you don't need to imagine the scene or what people look like. We imagine the scene just in radio because we can't see. Because we can't see the scene, we start to imagine for example, the characters, how do they look like, for example, the sound, the everything. Because we can't see, we just hear. We just here. But on TV we don't imagine because we see the scene. نشوف قاعدين المشهد فما نتخيلش إطلاقا. Everything is shown to you in a TV drama, and you don't need to imagine the scene or what people look like. Sometimes the setting, and setting here means the place where the story happened or the drama happens, مكان, place. are fascinating, astonishing, wonderful places, and the costumes, the outfits are often beautiful. The clothes of the actors, the outfits sometimes are beautiful. They make the program very entertaining, especially when there is fast action too. When you are watching a movie, for example, and there's a fast action in the movie, حركة سريعة, this makes you more enthusiastic, eager to watch more, متحمس. So this is an entertainment TV shows. عبارة عن عروض تسلاية, not just news, we have entertainment too. Here, people enjoy chat shows in a TV studio. The guests are interviewed by the show's host, and their conversations are usually interesting and entertaining. Paddy Riley hosts the chat show, Paddy's People. He invites several different people into his show every week, and he always includes a young person. This week, he is interviewing an ice skater. So here, we say people enjoy chat shows, and chat shows is like talk shows. For example, um, I give an example, like أكلناها, for example. It's a talk show. It's a chat show. We have a host, which means the person who is asking the questions, and we have guest, the person who is answering the question, and we have audience, the people who are surrounding the host and guests, and they are keep applauding and clapping their hands. So this is called chat show where people talk nonsense, maybe not necessarily important things, maybe nonsense. مش شرط تكون أمور كتير مهمة، يمكن يكون أشياء تافهة. We call it chat shows. In a TV studio, the guests are interviewed. We said the guest is the person who is answering the question. From the word interviewed, here is like a passive. ضيوف يتم مقابلتهم by the show's host, from whom the show's host, المضيف, the person who is asking the questions, and their conversations, interviews, meeting, talking. Conversations here means talking, حديث, are usually interesting, astonishing, entertaining, مسلي, and entertaining. Yes, Paddy Riley hosts the chat show. So we have here a host. His name is Paddy Riley. His chat show is called Paddy's People. العرض الحكي تبعه أو عرض الكلام تبعه أو البرنامج تبعه اسمه Paddy's People. ناس بادي أو جمهور بادي. Yes, Paddy's People معناها جمهور بادي. He invites When you invite someone, you ask someone to come to your home or visit you. So here, Paddy Riley invites a guest. um, دعا ضيف. He invites several many people, into his show every week. So his show is broadcasted everywhere. العرض تبعه بعرض كل أسبوع, and he always includes a young person. So the guests are young guests. الضيوف عبارة عن ضيوف شباب. This week he is interviewing an ice skater. في هذا الأسبوع he is interviewing an ice skater. بده يعمل مقابل ice skater, and ice skater is ice like ice slider, one who slides on the ice. For example, we call him ice skater. Okay, الشخص اللي زحلق على الجليد بنسميه ice skater. Let's go now to the next page. Here we have an interview between Paddy and Danny. So the boy, his name is the ice skater's name is Danny. Okay, I'm going to read the interview and then explain it. My youngest this week is a champion skater who will represent his country at the next Olympics. He is only 13 years old. Let me introduce you to Danny Green. Audience applauds. Welcome to the show, Danny. Thanks, Patty. Tell us about your skating, Danny. When did you start? When I was 4, I went with my sister. We were such noisy children, and Mom wanted to get rid of us. Both on Saturday morning, audience laughs. Did you always like it? Yes, I did. Right from the beginning, my sister gave up after a couple of years, but I carried on. When was your first competition? when I was 6. Did you win? Yes. So, a winner from the start. Well, you are a very modest boy, Danny. Oh, am I? You've won 5 gold medals. Well, that's true, and that's just in the last 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a picture of you. Danny winning at the international competition last month. There it is. Isn't that fantastic? Audience applauds. How does it feel to be all alone out there with all eyes on you, Danny? Does it make you nervous? I'm always nervous before I start. But as soon as I hear the music and start moving, I love it. And we can see why. Danny, you are obviously a born champion. Good luck for you for the future. Thanks very much. Danny Green, ladies and gentlemen, a star to watch. Audience applaud. Next week, I'll talk to a very special young lady. The young lady is violinist. She is the youngest solo violinist with the city orchestra. Her name is Meg Thorpe. Till then, goodbye and thanks for watching. So this is called an interview. We have a host. His name is Patty. He's interviewing, asking questions to a guest. His name is Danny. I think Danny Green, his name. Okay, so let's go to from the first. My young guest this week is a champion starter who will represent his country at the next Olympics. He is only 13 years old. Let me introduce you to Danny Green. Audience applaud. Welcome to the show, Danny. Okay, so at this first paragraph here, Paddy Riley is introducing Danny to the audience, to the public. He is talking about Danny. He is giving information about Danny. So the first step in making interviews is the introduction. هي المقدمة. So here Paddy is giving us introduction مقدمة about Danny. He's saying my young guest. So he is a young. This week is a champion, and champion here means hero. Hero. He's a champion skater. He's a hero skater. متزلج who slides on ice. Who will represent, perform by the name of his country. So his country, the country chooses him to perform by the name of it. يمثل. Here يمثل his country at the next Olympics. And you know what is the meaning of Olympics? It's an event of sports. حدث رياضي. It's a sport events where people يعني they compete each other. It's an event that has to do with the sport. حدث رياضي ضخم. Okay? He is only 13 years old. So how old is Danny? Yes, his name is Danny. How old is Danny? He is 13 years old. He's a teenager. مراهق. Let me introduce you. Let me uh, tell you about or show you هون يقدم introduce you to Danny Green. Audience applaud. And we have here audience in the background. Audience means people who are watching this, not the people who are sitting behind the TV, the people in the studio, that we call them audience. Now the audience are the people in the studio. For example, in like a talk show like أكلناها, we have people who are saying أكلناها, and they keep, yes, encouraging the guests to eat, discussing food. So we call these people who are laughing and applauding. And applauding here means clapping their hands. Applauding means clapping their hands like this. Okay, we call them audience. So audience applauds, audience clap their hands. Welcome to the show, Danny. Thanks, Patty. So here, Danny, he thanks Patty. Then the first question, tell us about your skating. Danny, when did you start? So the first question, when did Danny start skating? So Danny now is going to tell you the story behind his skating. Danny says, when I was 4, so he started skating at the age of 4. بلش التزلج في عمر 4 سنين. I went with my sister, with his sister. We were such noisy children. We were such naughty children, like your children's مزعجين. Like uh, any regular child or children, they are naughty, noisy. Okay, that mom wanted to get rid of us. Their mom wanted to get rid of them. To get rid of something is to get away to يعني and I give an example. Imagine that your mom is angry with you because you are being very noisy child, and she forced you to go outside. Go outside and play. You went outside not by your willings, but by your mom willing. She forced you to go outside. This is called getting rid of. طرد. Okay, she kicked you out. طلعتك تخلصت منك. So to get away from something, it's called to get rid of. To get away something يعني to get rid of. Um, both on Saturday morning, it was Saturday morning, audience laughs, ha 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 ha. They start to laugh, ha ha ha, like this. This is laughing, okay? Did you always like it? Yes, I did, right from the beginning. My sister gave up after a couple of years and I carried on. So Danny liked skating, but his sister gave up after a couple of years. After a few years, couple of years like means few years, okay? She gave up. She quit it. She became a very busy. She quit it. She doesn't feel that it was entertaining for her, so she quit it. She felt bored from skating and she quit the skating. حست بالملل وتركت الskating. But Danny, he didn't do that. He carried on. Carried on means continued. Continued. استمر. He carried on skating. When was your first competition? Competition, it's like a game or a match, مسابقة. When I was 6, so he started skating at the age of 4, and his first competition was at the age of 6. Did you win? Did you win? يعني هل ربحت? Were you victorious? Yes. So a winner from the start. Well, you are a very modest boy, Danny. When Danny said well, it means that he doesn't like to show off. Okay, ما بحب يتباهى كتير. So he is not an arrogant boy. He is a humble boy, modest boy, متواضع. Oh, am I? عن جد أنا متواضع? You've won 5 gold medal. Betty says you have won 5 gold medals. So how many gold medals has Danny won? 5 gold medals. 5. ربح 5 ميداليات ذهبيات. Well, that's true. Do you see the hesitation here? التردد, we have here points. Well, oh my. Well, that's true. It means that Danny is a humble boy, modest boy. He's not an arrogant boy. مش إنسان مغرور. And that's just the last 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a picture of you, Danny, winning at the international competition last month. هذا كله يعني he has won 5 gold medals through 3 years. اوكي خلال اخر 3 سنوات. اوكي هاي كل هاي الانجازات, all of his achievements happened the last 3 years, and the last month, and we've got a picture of you, Danny, winning at the international last month. So before month or a month ago, he won at an international competition. International means global. And a competition, a match or a game between a game that's um, happened across the world. Internationally, global, عالمي. Okay? There it is. Isn't that fantastic? Audience applauds. Audience claps their hands. How does it feel to be all alone out there with all eyes on you? Danny, does it make you nervous? Here we have another question. He asked him about his feelings when he before he start ice skating. Does he feel nervous? And nervous means worry. Nervous means worry. قلق. With all eyes on you, بكل هالعيون, with all people watching you, كل الناس اللي تشوفك وانت قاعد قبل ما تبلش, والناس كلها حاطة عينها عليك. Do you feel nervous? بتحس بالقلق أو التوتر? Worried, okay? I am always nervous before I start. دائما أنا قلق before I start. But as soon as I hear the music and it starts moving, لما أسمع الموسيقى وبلش الحركة والتزلج, I love it. بحبه. And we can see why, Danny, you are obviously a born champion. So here, Paddy is telling that Danny is a born champion. Champion here means hero. Born مولود. Born champion. ولد بطلا. Good luck for the future. حظا سعيدا للمستقبل. Thanks very much. Danny thanked him. Now here we ended the interview. خلص الانترفيو. Now at the end of the interview we have to introduce the audience for another guest without giving specific details of the guest. بدون ما نعطي um, specific details يعني معلومات عنه بشكل خاص. نحكي بشكل عام. Okay? So Danny Gibeon, ladies and gentlemen, a star to what? Here ladies means women. Ladies سيدات and gentlemen means men. سادة سيداتي سادتي. A star to watch. He is a star. Audience applauds. They clap their hands. Next week I'll talk to a very special young lady. So he's telling the audience what he's going to do next week. He's preparing them to the next week. حضرهم الأسبوع الجاي. The young lady is violinist. She is a girl. She plays with the violin. And violin اللي هي الكمان. Okay, so we call the person who plays with the violin violinist. عازف الكمان نسميه violinist. She is the youngest solo violinist. And solo means single. Yes, single. هي معناها الانفرادي أو الشخص اللي بيعزف على الفايولين بس بشكل مفرد يعني مش لحاله مش مع حدا تاني. Okay. um, she is the youngest أصغر solo violinist with the city orchestra, and we again orchestra is a group of people who is singing and playing with instruments. مجموعة من الناس بغنوا play with instruments بس الوحيد عازف الكمان بيكون بيناتهم هي هاي البنت. Her name is Meg Thorpe. The name of this girl is Meg Thorpe. Till then, goodbye and thanks for watching. وحتى الآن goodbye and thanks for watching. So here Paddy ended his interviews. Okay? I want you as students to go to reread this interview and start to act, perform it. Um, just with your sister, with your brother, it's up to you, okay? Or with yourself in the mirror and act. Once sometimes you are Patty and sometimes you are Danny, and take with you audience who claps hands or applauds or laugh. Okay, now let's answer the questions. Here on page 86 in Pupil book, we have a question here. Reading comprehension and vocabulary match the sentences beginnings and endings. In this equation, we have to go back to the lesson and reread it, then match the beginning of each sentence with its ending. بدي أوصل كل بداية جملة مع نهاية. كيف بدي أعرف؟ بدي أرجع النص مرة تانية. Okay? Number one. People used to read the news. This number one with letter G. Only in the newspapers. Two. Some channels show news. Two with H. What is H? And nothing else. 3. You can hear plays 3 with B on the radio. 4. The actors are 4 with F in a studio. 5. Everything is done for you 5 with A in a TV drama. 6. Sometimes the sitting are and 6 with D. Fascinating places. 7. People enjoy chat shows 7 with C in a TV studio, and 8. The guests are interviewed with E by the show's host. Here I already answered the questions. أنا already حلت الأسئلة هون موجودة. But as a student, go back to your lesson and reread it again and re-answer the questions again. Question 2, it has to do with talking, discussion. Okay? have a look on question 2. We're not going to answer it together because it needs a talk, discussion. بدها حكي، بدها مناقشة مع المس. ف read the lesson and reread answer question 2 by your own. حل السؤال رقم 2 لحالك. Question 3. Complete the sentences about Danny Green. These kinds of question I bring in the exam. هذا نوع من الأسئلة بجيبه في الامتحان لأنه عندي عبي الفراغ، بجيب لك طبعا الكلمات الموجودة، بنحط لك الكلمات في بوكس وأنت بتختار من البوكس حسب السياق. Depends on the context. So you have also to go now back to after I answer the questions, go back to the lesson again and reread the lesson and re-answer the questions. اقرأ الدرس مرة تانية وأعيد حل الأجوبة. Okay? Here, Jenny's sport is skating. He is a فراغ skater. He is a champion skater. ما بصير أحكي هون he is an ice skater. لو كانت ice كان حكينا هون an ice skater. He will represent his country at the next شو بتكون حسب النص Olympics. He started skating when he was he started skating when he was 4. We didn't ask here about his first win. ما سألنا عن أول فوز إله. حكينا he started skating أول ما بلش يتزلج كان عمره 4 يعني أمه طردته بعمر 4 سنين هو أخته. He won his first competition المسابقة at the age of 6. He has won 5 medals. سوري شو بده يكون هون؟ بده تكون الجولد، كلمة gold medals in the last 3 years. He always feels nervous before he starts skating, but when he hears the music and starts moving, he loves it. So we have to answer to know the meaning of these words اللي هي skating, champion, Olympics, 4, competition, 6, gold, 3, nervous, music, loves. This is very important question. It depends on the context. Here we have notes. Reread the lesson, then re-answer question 1, 2, and 3. You have to reread the lesson and re-answer the questions. Let's go to the next slides. Okay. Question number 1 is not important. Answer it by your own. Let's go to question number 2. It's a very important question because it has to do with meanings. أي سؤال له معنى كتير مهم كتير سواء كان معنى مباشر تمام direct meaning or to figure out the meaning of the word from the context. تكتشف المعنى من السياق من النص وبجيب لي 2 في الامتحان. Here we have words popular question 2. Popular means famous, well known, معروف. Audience, people who are in the studio اللي هو الجمهور. Imagine, to visualize something in your mind يتخيل. Guest, who is answering the questions هو ضيف. Conversation, talk, محادثة. Obviously means clearly بشكل واضح. Obviously here means clearly بشكل واضح. Here also we have to know the part of the speech of these words. نوع الكلام, whether they are noun, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, okay? Look at the word popular. Popular is an adjective, audience noun, imagine verb, guest noun, conversation noun, obviously adverb, okay? It ends with ly. Chat, talking. حكي. إيش هي تكون? Conversation. To have an idea or a picture in your head, in your mind. Imagine. 3. Well liked by many people يعني معروف محبوب الناس popular مشهور. The people who watch a show الناس اللي بيشوفوا إيش بسميهم audience and audience is a noun. You have to memorize تحفظوهم. Memorize the meaning and memorize the part of the speech. تحفظ المعنى و part of the speech. يجي لك في الامتحان choose the correct answer. The word popular, is it adjective, noun, or verb, or adverb? شو يكون الجواب? Adjective, for example. Okay? The people who watch a show, we call them audience and they are noun. Clearly, بشكل واضح, obviously. A person who is invited, الشخص اللي إحنا عزمناه أو دعيناه guest. Okay, these are the answers. Please memorize the meaning and memorize and understand the meaning. افهم المعنى أول إشي. Okay, and memorize the part of speech أقسام الكلام. Here on page now 73. Also, question number 2 is very important, has to do with meanings. Question number 3 is going to be a homework for you. Just label the pictures. We have here sound engineer, the person who is doing the sounds, okay, responsible of the sounds effects, host, guest, microphone, audience, and TV studio. You have to label them, put them in the right place, okay. Question number 4 has to do with meanings, and question number 2 also has to do with meanings. Both of them are very important. 2 and 4, they will come in the exam. Number 1, let's look to the words here. News program, radio play, TV drama, and chat show. Chat show هو البرنامج اللي فيه حكي. TV drama مسلسل. radio play مسرحية في الراديو يعني. A news program برنامج أخبار. The costumes اللي هي clothes outfits اللي هي الملابس are often beautiful. وين هذا يكون موجود؟ في TV drama. إيش سؤال write the kind of a program each sentence tell you about. إيش نوع البرنامج اللي علاقة في كل جملة. The conversation are usually interesting and entertaining. وين بتكون موجودة هاي؟ بتكون موجودة في الشات شو. conversation محادثة interesting entertaining كل هذا بالشات شو كله تضيع حكي. لما يكون في عندي برنامج كله حكي وهيك أشياء بكون في الشات شو. There are lots of interview and reports اللي هي أكيد news program. مقابلات reports تقارير. The host interviews the guest. وين الهوست بيكون في interview الجست؟ في الشات شو مرة تانية بنعيدها. These programs are popular. هاي البرامج بتكون مشهورة. إيش هي؟ news programs اللي هي برامج الأخبار. The actors are in a studio. الactors بيكونوا في الاستوديو but you can't see them, you just hear them. It's radio play. Question 4. Nervous. Look at the words from the interview. Write the matching words. Here it has to do with meanings. The word nervous, it means worry. nervous قلق. قلق champion بطل. Applaud يصفق. couple زوج. حسب المعنى السياق. مرة بيكون معناها زوج يعني أو two. بس هون بحكي لك my sister quit after couple years يعني couple of years يعني 2 years يعني زوج من السنوات. اوكي. carry on يستمر. اوكي. clap the word applaud لازم نحفظها. memorize these words. two couple winner champion. أعطوني كمان كلمة معنى كلمة winner. victorious اللي هو المنتصر. تمام. continue carry on worried nervous. That's it. Next time inshallah I'm going to send we're going to continue the unit 8. I'm going to take inshallah spelling rules and use of language. Thank you.